one. If
Okay, my bad. So, sorry, what was that?
it's a digital web page from PRAPH.
Okay. Oh, Praful. Okay.
Can you repronounce the name so I can able to catch it?
So you want to do a digital payment web page?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, cool. So when you decided you want to do a digital payment web page, Praful and Shravanti, so what do you want that to be? Like, does it only do payments? Does it have anything else? Any other feature to that? I'm just
Uh,
asking.
at this point, it's just uh, you guys can hear me, right?
Yep.
Yeah, at this point, it's just a bare web page with let's say assuming currency amount and the icons like transfer and then or uh, receive. And it's minimal functionalities.
Okay, cool. Nice. Um, who else do we have? Praful, Gandhi, Shanti, Srilata, and Vijayalakshmi. So, did you come up?
Hi, Anvesh. I'm working on a web page based on BMW latest BMW cars
Okay,
and SUVs.
nice.
Uh, yeah, it's still in process. Yeah, we'll update tonight.
Okay, cool. Today. I've asked you just to come up with the concept for today, so that is good enough.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah.
We'll upload the project today.
Okay, nice. Okay, I'll like you guys starting with your concept. So, from today onwards, I would give you assignments based on whatever we have or whatever we discuss in the class. I would just create my own web page and explain you guys concepts. And I want you at the end of every class, I would ask you guys to do a few things, and you you should implement on your web page. And this is a good way of learning. So, okay. So just to recap what we did yesterday, we discussed about different tags, what is HTML and how did it become into light, or how did it start. And we have explained you HTML has a head and a body, and in head mostly we would look at the title, and in the body is where actually the code is, or whatever you see on the web page is mostly on the body. But later on, you would also know that it's more than that. But for now, we are only concentrating on whatever uh, we can do in the body of a web page. So, anyways, so yesterday I was discussing about ordered list and unordered list. So I just want to introduce one more concept called nested list. Nested list is a list within a list. Let's say uh, I have a tea powder down here, but I want to explain like what sort of tea powder I want to, not just tea powder, but I probably want to do some mixture with that. So in that case, I can create a, right now, this is how the web page looks like. Let me open that. And okay. And this is our code. And did you guys download Notepad? Did you get a chance to do that? Notepad plus plus, not Notepad. But if you do that, and the reason I asked you to do that because it makes coding easier, as I'll show you in a bit. But anyways, so once I open my HTML page down here, if I want to create a list within the tea powder, I just want to do another list within that. So what we have is a nested list. In order to do that, just within the list item, I would create another list. And I'm just saying, apart from tea powder, I just want to add tea powder, or let me say tea powder mixture. Okay. Some people like tea with more than one thing in that, not just tea powder. So I would say tea powder. And this is a list item. And I can add multiple things to this one. Not just tea powder. Let's say some people like ginger or ilachi. So when I say tea powder mixture, people might be wondering what those are. So I would basically create this list within the top list. So this is how it would look like now. So I have a tea powder mixture, all of those. And sometimes I just don't want to show whatever I have in my web page. I want to display something from an external web page. Okay. In that case, what we would use is called a link. So you probably already have seen a lot of links in different web pages. No matter what web page I open, I have a link to a different web page. So if I click on this, it would display this person's information down here. And if I click on down here, it would show different information about this person. So so that is what we would be discussing next, links. So let's say I just want to show a different web page where they have good instructions about tea. Okay, how easy? So okay, just want to say a few more links or info about how to brew tea. Okay. So for that, we have a tag in order to represent a link. It is called, it's simple, A is for link. It is not intuitive, but that is what it refers to. And here, I just have to specify what link I'm actually going to. So right now, I'm going to include that. Once I do that, let us refresh the page and see. Say it just shows me a few more info about how to brew the tea, but it didn't actually show me content or what the link down here. So in order to do that, between these two tags, I have to actually describe it. So I have to say few more tea link 1, something simple. When I refresh it, it would show me that. And once you hover over it, you can also see what the link is. So once I click on that, it would take me to that particular page. But sometimes I don't want it to open in the same page, right? Sometimes I want that to be open in a different web page. In that case, I would use something called target. And another thing I want to mention is I forgot to mention before. So so far, whatever we've done, okay, H1 or paragraph or anything, just put paragraph, and in between that, you put information. So think of, for example, a car. Okay. Car has both, so car isn't a car, right? It also has some attributes, right? Like, for example, some people, let's say if someone asks you if you have a car, you would say, I have a car. but you would also like to describe more about it. Like you have a, let's say you have a BMW car. Okay, this is an attribute. Like this is a make of the car is BMW, and there is another model. For example, it's a X3. And some people would also like to know what the color of it is. So I would say blue, and year of it. So let's say 2021. So apart from just describing a car as a car, you also have some attributes in addition to that car. So that is what we're trying to do here. So this is a link, okay? Apart from having basic information, T-link1, it also has an attribute. The attribute in HTML is described in this way. So for example, there is an attribute called ID. So ID tells you something about this particular tag, okay? It tells the identification number, or this is how I would actually identify this H1. And ID it with, I can put any name. So in simple terms, if I want to add an attribute, I would simply say car, okay, and start and end tag. So within the start tag, okay, that is where I would give the attribute. Okay, I would say make and equal to in double quotations. Okay, this is a standard format of how we actually add attributes. So in the starting tag, I would put the name of the attribute and the value of it. So the value is BMW. If I want to add another attribute, this is how I would do it. And I would put a space. I would say model equal to X3. Okay. If I want to add a few more, I would just put another space and I would add that. So in a similar way, for link, if I want to specify what it is, I have an attribute called href, and that is equal to all of this. So that is what an attribute is, and that is how we put that. And usually, as I've shown you here, it's name and value. So in simple other terms, I can say start tag, end tag, or name one, value, okay, value one, and space, and so on and so forth. Can have multiple attributes. Similar to what car has, the tags has different attributes. One of them for this particular tag A, which is a link, is href, and it says this is where I would actually put the link. So once I click on that, it would take me to that particular location. Anyways, so like that, I have another attribute called target. And if I say blank, it should open in a new page. So target attribute, when I put the value of it as blank, now it opens in a new page. Okay. Is this clear? Do you guys have any questions? Okay.
Clear.
Cool. So let me, and in a web page, I can have multiple, links. So I can say now T-link1, and I can also have let's say I also found another link which shows perfect brewing instructions. So I would also add that. And now I have multiple instructions. And once I refresh that, it will show me that one. And as you can see, I can also more information about how to brew tea. If this doesn't seem intuitive, I can just add that as a part of list. So I can add another list down here. So this is how we can actually command more than one tag. So if I want to add more than tag within tag, this is how I would do it. So I would have list item, and so this belongs to this one. I can add another one down here. That should show me in form of a list, order list. So if I want to add more things, I can do that here as well. Okay. So far, whatever links we have given that to an external web page, right? Like once I click on that, it actually opens a different web page, and that is where it actually shows me that information. So sometimes, let's say Wikipedia. Okay. Once I click on something down here, okay, it is not going to an external page, but it's actually opening. If you look close down here at the link or the actual web page, okay, initially it says wiki/main page. Once I click on this one, it actually shows me a different link altogether. And sometimes we just don't want to show information from an external web page, but we also want to include our own web page. So there are cases where when we need to show more than or where we would have more than one web page. Right now, we are only looking at one thing, but if we want to include more than one, so this is how we can do. So whatever folder I've created initially, this is where my first application is. And then I've included another folder, okay, chai. And in here, I've included a few more web pages, HTML pages. And in this one, I just have basic information. I'm saying T1, a new tea recipe, okay? And as you can see, just, and I have another one. So in here, I have title as T2, and I'm saying mixed tea with full fat milk, and there are a few other things down here. So sometimes I want to include not just external links, but also I want to show information about something within my own web page or whatever I've created. In that case, so I can use the same a tag, which is a link, but how we do is a little different. It's not much different, and it's not complicated. It's a little different. And another thing I want to mention before continuing is I'm recording the classes from today. And once I'm recording it on my computer, once it's done, I would upload it to YouTube so you guys can have access to that. So in case if you want to look at it again, or if you, in case you want to refer to that in the future, or if you miss the class for any reason, you can just go through that. And okay, let me continue with this one. And here I'm saying, I would say, these are my recipes. And more information about how to brew tea from external websites. Okay, and within here, say, could be same as the other ones. Would have a link. Okay, and href equal to. Let me make things easier first. Let's say I have the rest of all the web pages in the same folder. Okay, right now I have first application T1 and T2 in the same folder. So in order to refer to that href, I would simply specify the name of this web page. Okay. In this case, it's t1.html. Okay. It's easy if you copy paste it than trying to type it. You wouldn't have too many mistakes happening. So anyways, t-link 1, and then I can create another list item. Call it so. So once I save that, let me go back to my web page, refresh it, and as you can see, I have a few more links. Once I click on that, it will open this local page, local web page. Okay. So before proceeding any further, I would like to discuss about folder structures and how can I actually make use of these. Okay, right now you can see the first application and T1 and T2, all of these are in the same folder. So in that case, the href, if you look down here, the href didn't change much. So I'm just using the names down here. Okay, let's say I've decided I want to put all my recipes in a different folder. Okay, so it's easy to maintain, and that is another thing which you would be mostly doing. You wouldn't have just one folder; you would have multiple folders, and always you wouldn't have just one HTML page. You would have multiple HTML pages. So in order to make things cleaner, what they would do is instead of having it in the same folder, I would have it in a new folder. Like for example, a folder lower to this first application down here. Let's say I don't have it here. Okay. And now if I try to access that, let me refresh this. If I try to access that, it says your file couldn't be accessed. So what happened? Earlier, I just said t1.html. Okay, I was able to go to that web page, and the same thing applies to the other one. So earlier, since it was in the same folder where I had this initial HTML page, I didn't have any issues. But now I have to go one folder deeper. So it says chai, and then so that is what we would be doing here. So it's one folder deeper. So in order to represent that, I would just get that, okay, and put a backslash and t1.html. Now let's see if that would work, and same applies to the other one. And now once I click on that, now I'm able to go to that. I'm able to access that HTML page. So as you can see here, since we have since we are one level deeper, so I have to actually include the entire folder, or at least starting where I am here. Since I'm here, I just want to go one folder deeper. So chai. Let's say they've decided to have it even deeper. Let's say I have another folder chai1 and another folder chai2. Okay. Now I have T1 in chai1 and T2 in chai2. And in order to access that, how would I do that? Can anyone guess or give me an answer?
I1/T1.html.
Okay, yeah. So chai1. So I would have to now go two folders deeper. So I would say chai, but once I'm there, I have to go another folder deeper. So chai1 to make things simpler. let me remove that space. And so chai1 and a backslash. Similar, this would be the case for this one as well. So if you have more folders, you would actually do the same thing in order to access that. Okay, now once you click on that, it's working. Same thing for the second one as well. So now if you look down here, I actually, from the first application, wherever the current web page is, okay, this first application web page is, I'm actually going couple folders deeper. So I've actually used, started with chai1, t1.html, okay. Let's say first application is also in a different folder, or let me, okay. Now let's say I'm in t1.html, right? Okay. This one, it doesn't exist. Okay, let me open it from here. Okay, now I'm here. Okay, now I want to provide a link to the home page. Okay, sometimes you would go a couple levels deeper, but eventually you want to get back to the main page, right? So in that case, I can, I would say home page down here. Now href equal to. So do you guys know how to do the reverse of that? Earlier, I had to go a couple levels deeper from this one to here to here. Okay, now I have to go 2 levels up, right? I have to go to chai1, chai, and then first web page, and here is the first application. In order to do that, earlier when you have to go 1 level deeper, you just had to specify whatever folder it is and all the folders inside that. So in order to do that, I would simply go 1 level up. In order to go 1 level up, I would put dot and backslash. And since I have to go 2 levels up right now, and then I would put this. So if not otherwise, I wouldn't be able to access that home page. Is this clear? Any questions? If I'm going deeper, I would just specify that folders. But if I do it reverse, in order to go up every each folder, I have to put this one. Sorry. Someone has a question. Okay, cool. So this is how the folder structure works. And always remember, you wouldn't have everything in one particular location in various, and that is done. So to keep things easy to maintain. So that is the main reason. Okay, so let's say right now I'm down here, right? If I want to, let's say down here, I'm at Wikipedia. Right now, we don't have a lot of content, but let me show you an example. Down here, I'm in Wikipedia, right? If I want to, I can scroll down here, but if I want to go up, I have to again scroll up, right? Let me do another thing. Let's say this web page, right? It shows information about this guy. And has. I just don't want to know about his early life and education, but let's say I want to know about his third term. So this is a link within the web page itself, right? I'm not going to an external web page. I'm not going to a different web page which I've created, but this is something going to the same web page, but a different area. See that? Once I clicked on that, it directly took me to that particular location. And it shows the sixth term down here. In order to do that, I can do that again using our A. And let me put something down here. So let's say I'm too lazy to scroll up, but I just want to click on something and I want to go to the top. And now I would, before explaining that, in order to do that, every tag in HTML has an ID. Okay, ID simply says uh, this is what it's just like a name. Okay, ID is like a name. Every person has a particular name. Similarly, or IDs can only be unique. So in this case, if I have top here, I cannot give top to another one. It would be confusing. So IDs are something which can be used for identification. So this is another attribute and this attribute is present for every tag. Okay, I can have it for H1, I can have it for paragraph, I can have it for, subscript, superscript. I can have it for absolutely everything. So another thing I want to mention is for every tag, you can have a ID and the ID and the value of it down here. Okay. And in order to go to a particular location, that is what I would actually use. So let's say, and if you guys see here, I'm using a paragraph for most of the stuff here. And that is because if you remember from yesterday's class, it's a block element. So inline elements are where, if I have something, everything would be in line in just one single line. On the other hand, block elements are where it would actually create a space between one element and another one. So I'm using a paragraph here because that's an easy way of doing this. So anyways, so in order to create a link, this is as simple as I would say href, and in this case, I would specify the ID. Okay, and I cannot just specify the ID, but I have to specify it with a hash. When I say hash in HTML, always remember hash in HTML is ID. Okay, so since I'm saying href top, okay, let me also put something here. Go to top. Okay. Since I have hash here, it knows the href knows it's an ID and it is trying to find where top is. Okay, and here it is. And since we know it, anyways, let me refresh the web page. And once I click on this one, you can also see the link down here. It shows and it goes up. And I can have as much content in between. And in order to make things simpler or easier, not just for it to go to the top as I've shown you down here, you can also look at the source of this one. For example, if I press F12, okay, and I would use the inspect element, the cursor down here. Let me click on that, and so it's a span, but anyways, it's a href, and as you can see, it says third term here. So I've done nothing different. It's the same thing. So there is a particular tag which ID is third term 2006 to 2011, and once I click on that, that is where it takes me to third term. Okay, so are the links clear? Do you guys have any questions? And okay. And sometimes some of the web pages also has something called you want to email someone, right? And there's a way of doing that using just a or links down here. Okay. I would say mail to our team master. Okay. In order to do that, I would use the same link tag. These are different ways of using that. And if I put a hash, it knows it's an ID. Similar to that, if I say mail to, and whatever email address we want to provide here, for example, abc@gmail.com. Okay, once I do that, let's say mail to our team master. Let me also put that. And once I click that, it would actually, right now it would try to open any default mail application. For example, if you are trying to open the same thing in your iPhone, to try to open the default mail application, whatever it is, or if you're doing using your Android, my open Gmail, something like that, with that particular link, it would put this in the sender's address. So these are different ways of using a or link. Do you guys have any questions? Okay. Sorry. Okay. So let's say our website has these T-links and everything, but it doesn't have one thing, right? Doesn't have a picture of any child. In order to do that, HTML has another tag called image. All right. Anyways, stop doing it here. I would just do it there. And image is simple, img. And usually you would, most of the tags have a start tag and an end tag, but images just have one tag. It doesn't have a end tag. There are some exceptions in HTML where you would only have just one tag without an end tag. In order to represent that, if you would just put a backslash within the start tag itself, and that is how I would do. So in order to use an image, first I have to make sure I create an image or have a image already present. So down here I've and this is a standard practice again, and you wouldn't just put all images down here in the same folder, but I would actually create a images folder, or you can name it whatever you want. I would name that, create that folder, and within that folder I would put all the images I want to. Okay, and similar to the attribute href I'm used for links, I would use a src, which is a source tag for images. And since again I have to go one folder deeper, I would simply say source images, or if I don't want to get it wrong, just copy paste that, and backslash and the name of the image. And here I just have it as chai. And apart from that one attribute, I can also specify how well the width and height of that particular image. So there's another attribute called width. And when you guys see in Notepad or most of the developer tools, editors, they have whenever you type something, it will automatically show you different options. So it's an easy way of coding, or it makes our life easier. Anyways, height equal to, I can put whatever number of pixels I want that, and also the width. I want that to be 300. And so sometimes not all the web pages show you would be able to show you the image, or sometimes the image may be corrupted or image may be missing, in which case I would put something called alt means alternate. So instead of showing you the actual image, it would actually show you this letters. So I would say chai here, since that is what it is. So in case if this one doesn't exist, or in case something happens, so alt is what it shows. So now let's refresh, and now we have a good picture of our chai. So, and usually whenever you see a picture, you would also see something below, right? Like describing what it is. So in HTML5, they've introduced another semantic tag called figure. Okay, in figure we have two things. First thing is the image part. Another thing is a caption. I will put a break and a caption. And the caption would simply say what it is. This is typical chai. Once I would save that, refresh it, and it will show me what it is. So, any questions?
What are we using alt for in that case?
So let me say I would remove the images down here. Okay, let me refresh this here. So now you see it shows whatever I have down here in the alt, like uh, this chai. Okay, let me save that, refresh it. In cases it's not able to find the actual image, since I'm removing since I'm not going to the folder images down here, right? It's a first application, but it's in the images folder. So in case if for some reason the image doesn't exist where I've mentioned it, or if it's corrupt, or if the browser is not able to render it, this is what it shows you. So alt is simply saying alternative to whatever source we have here. But in this case, it would just show you text. So in this case, you can say it's broken image, and it says this is a chai image. So you'd probably also see it in web pages whenever it's not displaying you the actual image. It would actually show you this is what it is. It would just describe it. It wouldn't show. So that is what alt is for. Is that clear?
Here one question, Avinash.
Okay.
Is there any possible, can we make here any scrollings?
Scrolling for what?
If you put a chai image there,
Mm-hmm.
so is there any possibility for us to scroll at this particular time, or else at the particular date, this thing, it will be available? Or
I'm just trying to understand.
either on the top or at the on the bottom, at this particular time the chai is available. I think you got my point.
Oh, okay. Yep. Just trying to, am I putting it somewhere?
Yes.
Do you want to know the schedule? Is that what you're asking for?
No, on the top it should be like scrolling will be there. Uh,
Can you show me an example? I'm still
yeah,
trying
yeah.
to.
We can say that if you go to a shop or if you go to a restaurant, and
Mhm.
we can say chai is available at morning from 10 to 2 o'clock or 3
Mhm.
o'clock. The particular type of scrolling will be
Like
there on the top. If you see
like
on,
mentioning the timings. No.
So you just want to see the timings?
yep, like it's a kind of a scrolling on that one.
Okay. I can put something down here.
We can use mark tag for scrolling the text.
So, okay. So there you go. You got the answer, right? So is that within the figure itself? Moni?
We can use mark tag. I'm pinging you.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we can use this tag and we can keep whatever the text you want to.
Would that be within the figure itself? Is it down?
Yeah, and we have to give the direction right, left, top, bottom, down, up, whatever.
Okay. And this is where the content goes, right?
I think we can give right, right.
Right.
Yeah, timings. Yeah, right.
And to, let's say, okay. I haven't used that, but thanks for mentioning that. Okay. Something like this. Is that what you're asking for, Shravanti?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Thank you, Moni, for helping me. I was a bit confused there.
Okay.
I think we can give the height and width also, and we
The
can
mark.
give the colors. Yeah, we can give the colors for that.
Cool. Thank you. This is you can put in as well. So let's say I would say green red, something like that. Okay. So I haven't, but anyways, yeah, thanks, Moni. So the last thing I want to go through, do you guys have like 10 more minutes or
I'm good.
sorry?
I'm good.
Okay. So if you guys have, okay. One last thing I want to finish today before,
Anvesh, can you repeat the tags about figure?
okay. So down here in figure, we have whatever the image is, we have a tag for that, img, and we have different attributes within that. Source is what actually says where the image is. For example, down here in our images folder, we have the actual image. So first web app, images, and child, right? That is what the source is for. Then we can have a height and width. We can specify the height and width for that. So in this case, I put that. And the last one you want to mention is alt. Alt is if the image doesn't show up for any reason, this is what actually shows. So for example, if I forgot to put this folder, this is how it would actually show. So one thing is, for the figure, you have image, and as Moni mentioned, we have marquee, which basically shows you the direction and how it goes on. And then you also have a fig caption. And fig caption is whatever you want to show as a caption for that particular image. Is that clear?
Yes, Anvesh.
Okay,
Thank you.
cool. And yeah, so okay. Do you guys have any other questions regarding the images? Okay, cool. So there is one more concept I want to discuss today before wrapping up. So if you guys, are you guys okay extending it for another 10 or 15 minutes?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool. So another thing I want to mention is, apart from showing the timings down here, sometimes I uh, want to show the timings, sometimes like in a table format, right? Like a schedule. like uh, like something down here, you know, with dates. Anyways, so if I want to do that, or if I want to display something in a form of a table, okay, I would use something called there is a tag called table. Okay, and usually whenever you consider a table, right? Yeah, close that. Okay. You have rows and you also have columns, right? So for table, you also do have the same thing down here. You have rows, and every row can have multiple columns. For example, this row can have, let's see, okay. I want to just display that Saturday, not Saturday, Sunday, let's say. Right now it's not showing much, but it's just showing one. So if I want to display more than one, I can create another row. I would say Saturday, it's 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Similar to that. So once I do that, refresh it, you can see it's Saturday and Sunday, and it also shows the timings. But you can see that it's not clear, right? Like which one belongs to what. So in order to do that, we can actually put something called borders. So table has another attribute. Okay. So simply border equal to the width of the border. And now it shows you with some borders, and I can also change uh, the background color if I want to. So BG color. Or, And I can give a color if I want to. Let's say want that to be green, just to make things simple. So now it has a color. So this is another thing which is really helpful in order to show something structured, like down here. So for the table, as you can see, you have two different attributes. One is border, another one is border color, background color, sorry. And some of them you just don't want to, apart from, this is, let me give you the table, right? And TR stands for row, table row. And your TD stands for table column. Okay, and apart from all of these, you also can have something called TH. TH stands for table header. So the difference between these two and table row, table column, and the within table, if you have a header, if you specify that, that would actually be bold. Okay, if I want to give schedule for Friday down here, okay, if I specify something down here, it would always be in bold. That is a main difference between usually having, using a column versus using a table th. So as you can see, this one is in plain text versus this one is in bold. Let me actually bring this color. Get let's say gray, or even if it doesn't have a color, that's fine. So we can let me leave that as is. So is that clear? Do you have any questions regarding the table or table row and the table column and table header, I guess? Anyone? Okay, cool. So this is how the standard table is. If I want to add more columns or rows, I would just use a TR, and within a row, table row, I can have a table column. I can have multiple columns as well, not just one. Apart from this one down here, sometimes, let me actually, you want to include more information. Similar to how we have, HTML head and a body, and you can also have something similar down here. You can have a table header, and I can describe some information, whatever is relevant it to be like header down here. And let's say this is a table body. I can have something. Again, within T header, I can similarly have a table row and a table column. That within T head or T body, we only have this, so it's easy for us to understand, but it's similarly structured. I can have some relevant information down here and have some relevant information down here. Similar to what I have here, I can also have a T head, I have a body, so I can also have a T foot. That is a table footer. And let me actually show an example when this can actually be helpful. I've created some code as well before, so just copy paste it down here. And as you can see here, this table has a table header, and within that I have a row, one row, and I have a couple different columns down here. Or in this case, since it's a header, I just have a th. Similar to that, I have a body. But let's see how it's renders down here. It's nothing different than what we had before, but right now it just adds some readability. That is all it does. I can say, since I have date, income, and expenditure here, and it's on the top, I just want to say that it's a head. So I've included that as a T header. And since I have rest of these as a part of the body, I've included that as a T body. Okay. And since I have just these two things at the end, in the footer, I've just added that T foot. But as you can see, nothing else changed. It's just for our own convenience. So let me actually remove this. So any questions so far? Is the table clear? Do you guys have any questions regarding a table? And border here represents the width of the border. If I increase the width to, let's say, 4 or something, you can see it increases the border. And the other one is better. Okay, anyways, do you guys have any questions regarding this table?
No, it's clear.
Okay. Cool. So this is where I would end today. I would start with forms tomorrow, and that should take a couple days for us. And that is another important concept. But anyways, since you guys already picked your web pages, I just want to start. I just want you guys to start working on that. And if I remember correct, or I don't have it. Can you guys also send me the list on the WhatsApp in WhatsApp, so I wouldn't forget it? So I have a clothing brand. I have a digital web page, digital payment web page, and another one with BMW cars. So in those things, since I've already shown you how to create images, if it's for a cars, you can include images. If it's a digital web payment web page, you can include different forms of payment. Or clothing brand, you can, you have different cloths, or you can include different images if you're doing the program. So include create. I just want you guys to create or display different products within your web page. Okay. And obviously, depending on your web page, the product can vary. So show me different images with the captions, just saying this is what it is. And also create some tables in it, and show me. Right here, I'm showing you different sort of information, but I just want to see your total sales on quarterly basis. Even if it's a Kroger or a digital payment web page. If it's a digital payment web page, you can say, Visa, and for the quarterly results, this is how much we've got remuneration from Visa or Amex or anything. Similar for the BMW cars, different depending on the different models, how much did you actually generate income. So once you do that, is that clear? Do you have any questions regarding that? So I just want you guys to do just couple things. Okay, one is create links within your own web page. You don't have to do multiple web pages. You can just do one web page. Just create links to external web pages where it would say this is a product. Another thing, I want you to create images of your different products. And third one is create sales for that particular quarter. So if is that clear? Do you guys have any questions? Okay, yes, that's clear. So I would continue the class tomorrow, probably around the same timings, and I would be discussing about forms. Just before I actually start tomorrow's class, I want to show you what a form can be. For example, if you open a Facebook page, or I can create a Gmail account, if I want to create an account, I will click on that. You see, it is asking me information, right? It is asking me to put first name, last name, username, password, and some of them have, your age. It would show you your calendar. It would show it would ask for your gender. So it can ask a lot of details. For example, look at down here. It would say birthday, and it would have a drop down here, or a gender. You can pick one of them, and you would click on this. Once you click on that, it would take you to a different web page. So forms is one of a familiar thing. No matter what web page you go, you can find a form, and this is a really important topic. So I would be just want to discuss that in a separate class. So I would be doing that tomorrow. It probably would take another couple of days. So if you guys don't have any questions, I would end the class now. Last, do you guys have any questions about what we discussed so far, or what the assignment is? Okay, cool. So I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. You guys have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.